Hey Sundowners, this is another video on music licensing for you. And first of all, out of the gate, I just wanted to apologize for the length of time between the videos. So, I mean, it has been a while since I shot the last one, but we got super busy at Sundown, just doing recording, and then we had, the licensing webinar going, and now we're working on even more content and stuff like that for you guys to really sort of help you leverage your music after it's recorded. One of the things that really occurred to me was when I started producing music outside of typical studios, when I started Sundown Session Studio, was that I was working with a lot of artists who were up and coming and indie artists and so on, and they really hadn't had sort of the experience of getting their music out there. A lot of you are super talented and everything, but you just haven't really had the opportunity to get your music into the hands of labels and publishers and licensing and stuff. And I used to basically be used to sitting in a studio with a band or an artist and really focusing on sort of one record, and then the agent and the manager and the label would come along and take that record off and do whatever would happen with the record, and then I would sort of rinse and repeat type of thing. And now I work with some amazing artists that I've never met before. And what happens, we work really hard and we're high-fiving at the end and got great testimonials for the website, and it's been amazing. But then a lot of times nothing really happens with the music. There's nobody out there pushing it for you guys other than yourselves. So I thought it would be a great thing is basically to give you the tools and the things that you need to take your music and make something happen. And licensing is one of the best ways to do that. It's one of the most lucrative ways to make money as an artist, and you can do it, from your bedroom studio. You don't have to step foot into a tour bus. You don't have to, go through all this stuff doing showcases for labels and spending money on this, that, and the other thing. Is you just get your, your recordings together, and then you sort of make that happen. And one thing that's come up over and over again, questions that have been asked, one of the ones that's really cropped up has been the fact that there's been skepticism out there of how hard it is to get your music into TV and film. And a lot of people think it's a little like winning the lottery, where there's just a certain number of people who are going to get their music placed and have success with other things like labels and all that stuff. And for the vast majority of everybody, it's just a crapshoot, basically. And that couldn't actually be farther from the truth. Success in the arts is not a game of chance. It's no more a game of chance than, putting somebody on the moon. It's, a big deal. It was in the 60s and, had never been done before. There was all brand new technology that they were putting together. And, the scientists and people who were working at NASA didn't look at that and say, well, this is going to be hopefully they get there type of thing. It was really about mitigating chance and really sort of, tragedy through mitigating the odds of that happening. And how they do that is that they spend time in designing and testing and refining. And that's exactly what I was teaching in the last webinar. And our expert guests who came on were teaching exactly the same thing, is about being positioned and placing your music and refining it and targeting it so that you're in that top 5 percentile of people competing for those spots, and not sort of the 95% out there that are using a shotgun approach and just sort of throwing it out there. And just to reiterate, a lot of you know this stuff already, but I'm just going to repeat it for the ones who haven't heard it. Is the first thing that you want to pay attention to is targeting your music. So what that means is that you're going to, I'll just write target here. You're basically going to take your music and look for look for other songs that are being placed in TV and film in certain shows and certain ads and certain movies. And you're going to sort of pick one avenue that suits your writing style already. And then you're going to produce and, sometimes write your music in a similar fashion. And what that does is it gets you into the ballpark of what they're looking for. So that's the very first step. And then the second step is vetting your music. So what that is that getting a listening group together and having them, listen to your music and give you ideas on the strengths and weaknesses of your songs. Now, for some reason, when we do it ourselves, when we try to produce our own music, It's I find it a little like tickling oneself. You know, I'm actually in the same boat right now. I'm working on a few tunes of my own for fun, and I'm having fun with it, but really it's a lot harder than producing music for other people, which I've done for close to 20 years. And I thought it'd be kind of easy doing my own stuff, and it's actually not. So I'm actually teaming up with other producers and stuff to give me some vantage points on things, you know, able to see things in a different way, getting comments from other people. And I find that hugely beneficial to what I'm doing. And the same thing with you guys is that you really want to have people, like you'll get them through your Facebook friends. You're going to do that through, there's websites you can pay to do that through, and so on. So you want to collect a group of people, or of trusted listeners who are going to give you honest advice. And then you look for patterns. You know, you don't go off of what one person said, you go off of what if several people have said. And then the third thing is the pitch. So what you're going to do is you basically want to pitch your music to the right people who are going to place it the way you need it placed. And you want the right people pitching your music to the people that they have the relationships with who can actually put it into TV and film. So that's hyper important. And we talked all about that during the webinar as well. So these three things, excuse my scrawly writing here, I just use a computer. All these muscles have atrophied, you know, I don't know how to write anymore. But that says target, and that says vet, and that says pitch. So, you know, really focus on those three things. And it's all about positioning your music and getting yourself into a position where you have a much, much better chance of making that happen. Now, I'll give you some real world examples. So very recently, we pitched a song for like a big blockbuster movie, and it was kind of a country thing. And it got in there, and the music supervisor told us that it was the lead song, you know, and it was in the lead for the whole time, and they had it in there as a placeholder song in the movie, and it sounded like it was totally going to happen. And at the last minute, they switched it out for something else. It just happens, you know. We don't know what it was. It could have been the producer or the director changed their mind. Maybe they found a better song that suited the scene better. But the bottom line is we were there and it was happening. So the other side of the coin is in the last video I sent out, I told you about this great thing that happened. We got a client some success basically at a show. And her name is Elizabeth, and the Catapult is the artist's name, basically. And she got into a show called Saving Hope. And basically she made a very healthy 5-figure fee from that, let alone the royalties that are going to come in later. So, and that was just from one placement. So again, we were very well placed, and it happened. So that's really what it's about, is getting your music placed so that you're way ahead of the masses and so on. So anyway, I hope you find that helpful. I just want you guys to know that you can absolutely do this. I know indie songwriters who are out there. I'm going to get some interviews with a couple of them to really talk to you guys about, you know, sort of how they do it, and so you can see how it happens. And they started from scratch, and they didn't have huge contacts and stuff like that out there. So for all you skeptics out there, please believe me, you can absolutely do this, and it's all about following these steps. So until the next video, you know, happy recording, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.